Namaste everyone here at Booktube. Welcome to my channel, Hamsavahini Vajrastra. I'm Ahuna and it's a beautiful morning today. I'm a little early and it's approximately 6 a.m. now. And this would be a short video for my wrap-up for Gilmoreathon, which had been hosted by Desi from the channel Darling Desi and Heather from, I think I'm not too sure about the channel name, but I will post a link to the announcement videos in the description box below. Now, Gilmoreathon was a week-long readathon which had been inspired by the TV series Gilmore Girls. And honestly speaking, I had never watched Gilmore Girls, although I'd seen it on Netflix coming up here and there, but then I had never actually watched Gilmore Girls. So it was the first time that I actually went through and watched Gilmore Girls, and I absolutely loved the series. And of course, I'm not through all the seasons yet, and I have been watching season 1, which I just recently completed, and I absolutely loved it. So Gilmoreathon was based around this TV series, and it's specifically stresses on the mother-daughter relationship, its ups and downs, all its upheavals, as well as the great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, and daughter relationship, I would like to say. So although I've just completed season 1, but then I really found it quite interesting, because at every point and second you never know what happens next. I loved the way that it has been directed, and I loved the ambience of the entire series. So this really inspired me to watch more and read more into the entire psychology and the beauty of the relationship between mothers, the daughters, and the entire lineage of women within a family. Now, there were a couple of challenges which were centered around this particular series. So the first challenge was to read a book or a story which was based around a small town. So for this particular challenge, I had chosen to read The Dressmaker, which has been written by Rosalie Ham, and I really loved the way that she has portrayed all the characters. The Australian culture has come out very well in this. Of course, there is a movie which is based on this as well, and as you can see, it has been enacted by Kate Winslet, who happens to be one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood. So I love the story, and it's all about the way in which the main character, the main protagonist, who's known as Trilly, she comes back from Paris. She works as a seamstress over there, and she is involved with very high culture, and she is very talented, but she has been through a lot. She has been tortured a lot, because she happens to be the illegitimate daughter of a very loose woman who was supposed to be her mother, but it's a completely different ballgame when it comes to her mother altogether. So nobody really accepted her, and she was never seen as a daughter, and people were, and it was a small town, so gossip was always around, and she was not known in very good circles when she was young. So when she grows up, she leaves home, comes back to the town to look after her mother, who seems to be mentally deranged at the moment. And it's of course about the mother-daughter relationship as well, how Molly, who is the mother, her deranged mind is healed by the daughter, and how the daughter starts taking her own sweet revenge and teaches the small town which gossips about her and cannot accept the fact that even though she is illegitimate, but still she is a daughter of her mother, and she's here to honor that relationship. So this was my first choice, which I had selected. So I really loved it. So this was all about, it was of course about the mother-daughter relationship as well. So that was the first reading challenge. Now the second reading challenge was to read a book which is set in winter. So for this I had chosen Prem Chand's Winter's Tale and Other Story, which is a translation, because the original stories are written in Hindi. However, I could not get to this book at all, because I had chosen to complete the reading challenges, so I could not get to this book at all. So I had to DNF this book, but I will be reading this in the month of December, because December is anyway winter, maybe December or maybe January. So one challenge which I could not complete. Now the third prompt was to read a book which is based on a mother-daughter relationship. So for this I had chosen to read Janani, which is an anthology, and it has been edited by Rinki Bhattacharya, and it is an anthology of stories which have been written by various authors. Now this book is divided into three parts. First, the word Janani means mother, who gives you birth, and the book is divided into a daughter's point of view of mother. Second, daughters becoming mother themselves, the entire experience. And third, the daughters watching their children becoming mother. So the entire journey within a few stories which has been written actually revisits and brings back memories of our childhood as well, and our relationship with our mother, and what we had observed commonly, which used to happen in the relationship of many daughters. So I would suggest, in case if you have the opportunity, do please pick up this book. It is beautifully written. Of course, it's based upon the Indian culture, but the way mothers have to sacrifice, and the way they love to sacrifice to serve and to prioritize their children and see a part of themselves live within their children, and how growing up as a mother, or after becoming a mother, taking on that responsibility, making those choices, and then not only adhering, but to adhere to the principles and have the correct timing to be soft, be gentle, yet be strict and uncompromising in the standards of bringing up your children, as well as how to gently guide your own children when they become, or your own daughters when they become mothers, is something which is beautifully expressed in these few stories which I have been reading. And it's a beautiful book. I really enjoyed this, and based on this I was also I'd also found this book, which is A Cup of Comfort for Mothers, Stories That Celebrate the Women Who Give Us Everything, which is edited by Colleen Sale, and it's not a very new book. It's quite an old book, but the story is written over here. I've not read it completely, but I plan to read it. But whatever overview I had, it was wonderful. I got this book because I was inspired to read more on the mother-daughter relationship. So it was beautiful, and not this book, of course, but this entire story of Janani was beautiful, and I hope to continue reading about mothers and daughters in the month of December and January whenever I get an opportunity. So I would suggest, if you have an opportunity, do please try and see if you can get this book as well. It's got beautiful stories, and so does this book, which is called Janani. Okay, so this would be the prompt for mother-daughter relationship. Now, the next prompt was to read a book by an Asian author. So, Janani is written completely by Asian authors, or by Indian authors. So, that fulfilled this prompt. The next prompt was to watch your favorite episode of the Gilmore Girls. So, I actually watched approximately 21 episodes of the first season of Gilmore Girls. It's the first time that I'm watching it, and I never really expected that I will like it, but I absolutely loved the way that they have portrayed the entire relationship. So I will be watching the other series as well. Now the last challenge was to read a book which had complicated love interests. Of course, this particular book which I had read, The Dressmaker, it did have complicated love interests as well, because there were married women and who were having extramarital affairs, and there were women who were trying to get the most eligible bachelors within their wedlock pockets, as well as or for their wedding, as well as there were others wherein there were memories of broken relationships, and they were getting patched up in a very different way. So there were complicated relationships in this as well. However, I did choose to read The Garden of Shadows, but I mean, I had chosen this I included this in my TBR list, but then I did not get through it. Now, there was just one other challenge which I could not complete, which was the baking challenge. I did not really have the time to bake anything, but I enjoyed this readathon, and I especially loved watching Gilmore Girls, and it was really a very good journey into not only the memories of my relationship with my mother, my grandmother, but also it was a very good insight into the usual mother-daughter relationship and the entire beauty of it, as well as the entire lineage which is represented by a woman. The importance of it, the beauty of it, is something which was really appreciated and honored and stressed upon in this particular readathon. So this would be my short wrap up for this particular reading challenge of called Gilmoreathon, and I really loved it, and I really enjoyed participating in it, and I hope that I will be able to participate the next time Gilmoreathon is hosted again. So thank you, Desi, for creating this wonderful readathon, and all the lovely hosts, and I hope I will be able to join you next year as well. So with that, I will wrap up this video. Thank you for joining me today, and have a good reading week ahead. Stay safe and happy, and namaste.